do the thing this and be like, oh my god, it's me.
Good morning.
Bro.
I hear that.
Yes.
Back
People,
again.
yes,
back
we're
again. Favorite bunch.
Yes.
Back again.
I hope
bunch of
everyone's
grapes.
having
Easy now.
a good week. You know, everyone's just having fun. You see the sun's been out and that, so hopefully you lot have been keeping your rule of 6 as well, you know. So
Yeah, man. Stay in that bubble.
yeah, stay in
Yeah,
that
sure.
bubble, find that
I
social
know
bubble.
people have burst that bubble already. Not
It's alright. It's alright to be around. Obviously, like 20 other groups of 6, but obviously groups of 7, we don't allow that around here. Come
Yeah,
on,
we don't do them things.
come on.
I don't know about you.
I'm
I stick
saying.
with the 7, fam.
Yeah.
I'm saying what rules are meant to be broken? Like,
One Boris. Is that what you're talking
One
about?
rule
boy-
breaker.
Boys don't even know what he's doing. You didn't see him on the TV the other day. He's got drawn out tights, you know.
Go to work.
People are told them, come and tell us what you think. He's just sitting there like
I saw. What's his name? Ed
Ed
Miliband.
Miliband, and then
He's like,
there's
tell
another
us. He's
guy.
like, tell us if you say.
Priti Patel.
Yeah.
She got asked. So if two families are walking down the road,
Yeah.
and they're two families of 4, and they stop in the middle of the street just to say hi to each other,
Yeah.
is that against the law? And she said, "Oh well, no, it's mingling." And since the 1300s,
Yeah.
mingling is the first time it's been like an offence since 1300s, which is mad. But they don't know what they're talking about, basically.
They don't, man.
I saw nice.
I saw where she got grilled about if your neighbours, if you looked over at your neighbours and they've got 7 people in attendance, are you gonna call the police on your neighbours? And she was like, well, it would be the right thing to do. But the reporter was like, no, but will you call the police? And eventually she got down to it, but you could tell she was
Fam.
really not trying to give that answer away.
None of them know what they're doing. It's
Rattled,
this
innit?
Dominic Cummings guy, fam. He does what he wants, bruv.
That's what he wants, mate.
He's
Is he the one that's actually gonna see his wife? And then he
No,
does what he
his
wants.
parents, innit?
His parents as
Dominic
well, mate.
Cummings.
He does what he wants.
Man drove up to the tune, fam. He said like, ban everything else, ban COVID. I can
Whose
do what I
house?
want."
DC's house.
So stupid. But yeah, man. So do you know what? I've been struggling for film titles and everything. Yeah. I struggle sometimes. You know.
Sean doesn't struggle. That's not in his vocabulary.
Wouldn't associate that word with Sean.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean, guys?
Anyway, as I was saying, before I was really interrupted. So I've been trying to find out. You lot are dumb. I've been trying to find out some, Netflix like films and series, and I've been struggling in it. So like the other day, I come across this film called Cuties.
Oh
It's a
yes.
film.
Do you know what?
Yeah, it's a film.
I've seen. Yeah, I've seen the trailer. And
Oh, now
So-
that you said that, I know the concept. Yeah. Go ahead.
With the
The little youths
girl.
and
I've
that.
heard about it. I didn't really look into it.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard that, I just said I don't want to really. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
Can't
to be
get
honest,
cancelled.
Yeah, so it's one of those ones where it's fair to say that obviously none of us have watched it.
No.
I definitely haven't watched it because I don't think I can bring myself to watch it, especially from what I've heard. But I think it had a lot of controversy, however you want to say it. It had a lot about it since the poster that came out. It had girls in very sexual these young girls in very sexual positions in posing in like a 2-piece, almost like they was on stage, innit?
Oh, go on, yes.
And I looked at the trailer as well, and you've got them booty popping on the stage, doing all this gyrating on the floor and things.
No.
And
it
is very
we don't
mad.
deal with them things right now.
Now you've had a lot of, if rightly so, you've got the director had a lot of backlash from it,
Of course.
and because of that now, obviously she's come out and she's basically said, so her name is Mimouna Decore, and she's from like Senegal, innit, but obviously lives in France, so this is a French film.
She should know better.
But
Oh, but-
what she's saying is that this film was basically what her own account for like experiences that she's been through, and also she's trying to shine a light on how the world sexualizes young girls nowadays. Do you know what I mean? Which I understand. Obviously, I can't go too much into it because I haven't watched the film.
Yeah.
But we can always talk about the whole sexualizing of young girls and even young boys into their society. So like, what do you lot think of just that in general?
I just think it's disgusting, but I think it's something that has been going on since the beginning of time. It's just that it's just been very secret. But now things that used to be in the dark and in the secret, it's almost like it's becoming normal now.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even, I don't know, I don't really want to go down the tangent of conspiracies and stuff like that, but there's this whole thing of, you know, leaders and that being involved with the sexualization of young kids and little girls and little boys likewise. Like, for example, do you know what? Was it Prince Philip? Prince Andrew, that's the one that he got done. He's a paedophile, but we're not hearing about it. Do you know what I mean? So it's usually within that ring of, you know, well, from the information that we have, is usually in that ring of, you know, the leaders of the world and people in positions of power, etc. Look at what's his name again? Epstein.
Yeah.
Look at that. And then the lady that's involved with, I forgot her name, it's so bad of me. What's her name again?
Clinton.
Pardon?
I swear Hillary Clinton was involved in it as well.
Oh, was she?
Was it Hillary Clinton?
I heard something.
Do you know,
she was involved in a way. She was involved in
some way. Hillary, I heard that. I read that somewhere.
Yeah. But it's wild. Do you know what I think? Actually, in fact,
I was gonna say that just back off of what Dan said as well. Like, there's a lot of child trafficking that goes on as well, which is another element of that. You know, sexualizing children and things like that. Because you know, there was a post maybe about a month ago where it was talking about some of these big companies. They advertise like storage cabinets for a particular price. I'm sorry, I'm just quoting it like this. This whole, I can't remember all the finer details of it, but they're advertising these storage cabinets for like 15 grand, and realistically, what you're actually doing is you're buying like a child online.
Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know there's actually a society? It's a part of. I forgot what it's called. There's a guy. Obviously, I work in construction, innit?
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of the labourers there, and he was telling me about this messed up organisation. And I forgot, for the life of me, I forgot what it's called. But what they do is they prey. They're men. It's a society for men, but they prey on little boys. But it's like, it's a society that's accepted, if that makes sense. Like, it's actually like registered. People know about it. So when you hear about that, you know what these people do. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the name. What? I can't remember. But it's messed. When he was telling me, I was like, whoa.
But again, it goes to show that, you know, there's so much stuff that goes on, and especially it's disgusting, you know, when it comes to sexualizing children, like whether it's little girls or little boys, or, you know.
Look, I don't know what like when you think about the cases that are happening in the world right now. England, yes, but even like places abroad where it's more prominent. Yeah. You know, you go to Asia. Yeah. They're just raping off little girls. They're just raping off women in general. Yeah. You know, you go to different places, they're raping little boys. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's happening underneath our nose. We don't even know about it. Do you know what I mean? It's so like, it's such, you know, like a taboo. Yeah. To not talk about it, but it's happening on a regular basis. Yeah. When you kind of, okay, like I've had exposure to sort of, I have to be careful now because of safeguarding and stuff, but I've had exposure to like social work and stuff like that. So I used to work as I used to work in a creche for like family group conferences and stuff. But some of the cases that you would hear in those situations, you think to yourself, do you know what? If you never knew about the situation today, it would never cross your mind to think that something like that would happen in this world. Do you know what I mean? Especially on your own front doorstep. You get what I'm saying? Some of the abuse that young boys and young girls are getting, do you get what I'm saying? Like there's certain dons that are, you know, on the road and stuff, and you think, oh yeah, this is a big bad man and whatever. They've had experiences. They've been molested when they're young, and that's what makes them go off the rails. Do you know what I mean? And that's why they get so aggressive with certain situations. And you just think to yourself, well, you know what I say anyway, the world is tapped. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like, what drives you, what makes you think it's okay to touch a child, let alone anyone without their consent? What makes you think they're so innocent?
Exactly that. Do you know what it is as well? And obviously you three ain't got kids in it, so it's a thing of, for me, you don't know I've got kids. Everyone knows I've got kids, innit? So it's like when I hear things like this, especially more so now. Obviously, it happens to little boys as well as little girls, but more so now that I've got a daughter as well, a young daughter. Bro, it scares me. It scares me so much because I'm looking at my daughter, and for me, she's like the most precious thing under the sun, innit?
Yeah.
So for me, knowing that big grown men and even women are doing things, sexual things to little girls, little boys, bro, it like right now I'm talking, my belly's turning.
Bruv,
It makes me feel sick, bro. How can a big grown ass person be attracted to a kid in that way?
They say it's a mental health thing, but I
see, that's where it gets a bit techie because I don't know, man. I think I don't know.
It has to. Like, you think it's like obviously mental health.
Sorry, let me ask you a question. Do you think do you think that you're born with something in you? Okay, cool. So
careful how you phrase this now.
Yeah. I'm just thinking wisely. So okay, let me just stick to what we're talking about. So in terms of sexualizing children and all that, do you think that people are born with something in them that makes them attracted to kids?
No.
What do you think?
What happens? I think. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I think what happens is sometimes those people are usually troubled themselves, and they can't separate. Okay, so a lot of paedophiles, from just like researching that, some of them have been molested at a young age, so they can't separate. They can't separate being young in their adult form. Like that's what they like.
But so then you see how you said that they can't separate. I think that's something in the mind where they're not able to function properly, properly, and that's why I feel that it's a mental health. It is a mental illness, but one that because they try to say, and again I'm going to try and be careful. You know what I mean? So,
see, this is such a touchy subject.
So sometimes obviously like there are things that happen that when mental illness is involved, they write off the accountability. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like this is one of those that you can't write off that accountability. You can't because like it has to be a very severe case that this person doesn't even know what they're doing in day-to-day life, like that they're completely out of it. Do you know what I mean? But other than that,
let me ask you another question.
Like, go on then.
Let me ask you another question. Okay, and I mean, like, again, it can be looked at. There could be a number of arguments for this, innit? So let's just say, for instance, God forbid. Not God forbid, because it hasn't happened. None of us have been through any.
No. Is this wood? You reckon?
I don't know.
Let's just touch wood, innit?
Oh, I think it is. Touch wood, that.
All you listeners touch wood.
No one close to us. Our children, when you guys have kids, your children, our cousins, that this kind of stuff ever happens to them. It hasn't happened to us. And we thank God that we wasn't exposed. We thank our parents that we wasn't exposed to that kind of. Do you know what I'm saying? But let's just say, for instance, one of us was exposed to that, and it did happen to one of us. Wouldn't that then? Because I think about this not all the time, but when we talk about these kind of things, I think about this. As someone that's been, exposed to that, it's happened. Like you've been molested as a child or whatever. You've been through certain things. In turn, would that not make you want to grow up to then raise awareness or to help other people instead of turning the other way? Would that not make you
2 seconds?
No, go for it then.
2 seconds.
I think I'll fight, but you go.
I think it's a double-edged sword in a sense where, unfortunately, I do know people who have been molested by family members, and I do know people who have been raped by family members and just people who they've trusted, and you can't even. It has two effects on people, right? Based on what I've observed, it can either you can grow up and you can. It's not so much raise awareness because sometimes people don't like others to know that has happened to them. It's something very deep, dark, and secret. They want to forget about it. It's not something they want to relive every day. So and when you're advocating for it and raising awareness, you have to live through that truth.
Again,
you get what I'm saying? Again and again and again. And that causes a lot of psychological damage to what I know personally through my own friends who are females.
I understand.
Do you understand?
Yeah,
and then the other side is that when it flips on its head, and you become they become pedophiles. It's that the damage is so deep that they've just been messed up. They've been screwed up psychologically, so they think it's okay when it's not. But the reality is that they know it's not okay, because when they get called out and when they get caught, it's like, I didn't do that, or I wasn't going to do that. They know it's wrong, but it's almost like they can't help it. It's like a and this is not justification for them. I think it's wrong. I think it's disgusting. But it's almost like somebody that's addicted to drugs. It's almost like a real alcoholic that if they don't have an alcoholic drink, they're going to start drinking something with alcohol in, because they need to get their fix of alcohol. They'll start drinking, I don't know, what's it? What do you call it? Hand sanitizer and stuff like that. There's people that really have an alcohol addiction.
Or like, was it hooch? And things like that,
stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Certain alcohol that's just something,
so they can keep their fix going. So, although you can, some people can argue, it's a mental health issue. It's a mental health issue, but if you're getting called out about it and it's wrong, then you know right from wrong. So you know what you're doing is wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is exactly what I'm saying, because it's like, if you can, as you said, like you can say, oh, this is right, this is wrong. Then again, you have a sense of right or wrong. You should be held accountable for what you
100%.
did. Obviously, if the person is, you can see they're clearly struggling with what's right and what's wrong. They're so deep, the trauma is so deeply rooted
and
that they don't know. Then obviously as a parent, you're obviously going to think, they need to get on
the flip side as well, there are some people that they get the thoughts, they don't act on it, they get the thoughts and they go to someone like a psychologist or a doctor, and from what I'm aware of, there is some sort of medication to sort of suppress those feelings.
Was it depressants, basically?
I don't know if it's depressants, but it kills that desire to want to carry out the act that you have in your mind.
I think that's mad.
I think it's disgusting. But for me, like, I'd rather, and I'm not saying that I agree, but I'd rather that if you have the thoughts, I'd rather you go and try and get help, you kill it, because you know that it's wrong,
instead of carrying through with it,
because you're ruining the next generation.
But even still, man, both are just mad.
You can't have those thoughts. It's wrong. It's like when I see, it's like when we were younger. Remember, we've been exposed to this our whole lives. When we were young, you see certain girls in school, they're going out with a man that's driving cars, but you're 15, 16.
All right, hold on, what's it?
I've got a point to say, just before we go into that, because I think we have to also point out that, a lot of it's to do with an imbalance that they have sometimes within their mind, because when it comes to mental health, a lot of it is about having, it's all about capacity. Like, do you have the mental capacity to understand what you're doing or why you're doing it? And like you said, a lot of them do it and then they don't realize that they've either done it, or they know that it's wrong, and then afterwards it's like they're remorseful for it, but they weren't remorseful for it prior to the act of doing it. So I think for me, I think it is a mental health thing. It is something that whether they've gone through their own trauma and it's just psychologically messed them up, because a lot of, when it comes to mental health, a lot of things are to do with, some people, when people suffer with certain mental health conditions, it's because like the serotonin in their brain has been depleted, and that can come through people smoking too many different types of drugs, or
wait, educate me quick, what's serotonin?
Serotonin is like it's the chemical in your brain that brings you happiness. Okay. So serotonin can be fueled by even like gym, for example. Something that gives you that positive endorphins to kind of make you feel good about things.
I got you.
So, and even foods, things like all different types of stuff. So if you deplete the serotonin in your brain, that's how you can develop things like psychosis and all the rest of that. Now that's why it's
I'm getting a lesson, boys.
So a lot of people have gone through so many traumatic situations, whether they've been molested when they were younger by people that they really, they saw as their protectors, like their parents or whoever it was, that things like the serotonin in their minds and things like that has been depleted, and then they become unhappy, or they try to fulfill that happiness through things that, you know, maybe they thought to themselves, oh, well, if my parents is doing this to me and my parents meant to love me, then maybe I should do that to other kids, because that's the warped,
disgusting cycle, man.
Cycle. It's a catalyst. It just becomes this thing that just,
of course,
constantly goes forward. But back to what you were saying about the
I was just going to add to your point,
go on.
In terms of, you know,
I'll say something after
just
you.
in terms of you know,
I love it, lads.
But you know when you're saying that oh gosh, goodness, don't make me forget now.
You're talking about like girl, like when we was younger, and because he was talking about.
No, I was going to add a point. It's like when they do something because it makes them feel good, and afterwards they realize that it's bad. Sometimes they panic, which is why they end up, a lot of molested or rape victims end up being murdered.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because they panic, they think, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. I don't want them to get away. I'm going to kill them. For example, that is it? What's their names? Jessica and Holly. Remember them back in the day?
Ian Huntley.
Yeah, Ian Huntley. But he was the caretaker. At school. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have to be careful, and that's another thing. You have to be careful about who you let around your children as well. You know, one thing I remember,
You can
my
only
mum.
be so careful as well, man.
Oh, bro, I don't want to talk about it no more.
I heard that.
Anyway, so but anything on that? Because I'm gonna flip the script now.
Yeah, no, flip script.
So as you were saying, you're talking about girls
In school.
and you find out that, you know, them girls that would be like, oh yeah,
I got a
my man's in college and
He's
they're
21.
all like,
What do you mean he's 21? You're
Yeah,
16.
exactly.
doing?
Exactly. Not even 16, sometimes
14,
14.
yeah.
And
He's picking you up in the 1.2 course.
yeah. So now I'm flipping the script in terms of like, so you're thinking about these big Ras man, 21, you're still a man, and you're looking at these girls or whatever. It doesn't matter, even if it was just a title that you've got. What do they want with these girls? Do you know what I mean? And even then, sometimes when you look at because I was driving the other day and I was listening to shout out, what's her name? Babyface Pod.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. And I was listening to Babyface Pod, and they were talking about, well, they obviously, like, she was like, oh yeah, I look 12 in it. So like, if you're gonna come and speak to me, like, expecting me to be young, why have you come to me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is, like, so
But
if,
then you
I
can
can
flip
tell you a
it as well,
reason.
you know.
Yeah,
You
go on.
can flip it again.
How
I can
can
add
you flip
another dimension, because there are some females, just like some males, who lie about their age.
yeah, but then
Because
I'm
they
saying
want their
if but all right, so
But if we're taking
Because
it on,
some of them look older than their age. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that they
Yeah.
look older, but what I'm saying is, we're talking about the like,
first
youngers.
Why
so-
would you go to that person if they look young?
If they
Yeah, if they
look
look young,
yeah.
You're nasty. I'm sorry.
If they
and
look
then,
young,
and then
obviously,
you've got the
yeah.
knowledge,
Yeah.
like they look young, you confirm, and now you have the knowledge that they're young,
And
then
you're
you still
still
pursue.
following through.
So you've made
then
that run.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and now when they tell you that they're actually of age, oh, you beat the offside trap.
Yeah.
But why'd you make that run? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Honestly. But this
it's
is
not-
why a
No,
lot of
but
females.
hold on. No, wait. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
But when you say beat offside trap, if you're going to them, if they look young, all right, cool. You may see a girl. You may be out. You see a girl thinking, oh, you know, she looks nice or whatever. She's with a group of friends. Let's
Yeah.
just say a group of friends that look of age. But then there's this one girl that looks young.
Yeah.
She's maybe the sister of the group, and she's like the younger sister. Yeah,
You never know, innit? So you maybe think, okay, cool, like Ross, she's probably, if she's with them, you never know, she could be of age. You approach, you find out.
what
No,
did
but
you
the
like
natural
about her? Because she
reaction,
looked
though.
young.
But let's be
You know what
real.
I mean? Like, that's what I'm.
But lads, let's be real.
But
like,
then how you, I don't know.
Do you know, can I just tell a recent story?
That's how mad.
There's a recent story that someone, a female, told me about. Good friend of mine. She told me that she was out and about, and she just moved to a new area, and she got moved to by a 40-year-old man. When he came up to her, sugar daddy. When he came up to her, he was saying, "Oh, you're gorgeous," blah blah blah. Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh," and she said, "Oh, I'm 16." And then he was like, "Yeah, well, I'm 40." But that there, is just like what in her mind. She's thinking to herself. Yeah, she's thinking to herself like, she's 24. Yeah, So
she said she's 16.
She said she's 16, but because she's a little bit, she could probably get. She, you know, if a girl tells that to a man, what are you gonna really? Do you know what you're gonna really say? Oh no, you're not 16. Blah blah. Like that's even more wild. But equally, it's just like, how are you as a 40-year-old man being told by a girl that you've just moved to? He called her sexy, by the way. Actually, that's something else I forgot, which is another level of, you know, of nastiness anyway. Saying it's a girl that you know is underage or you know, or whatever. The age gap is just too great. It's too big.
Look, I was just saying earlier, yeah. Let's be real, as man them. If you was to go out and you see a group of girls, but one of them looks young. Do you get what I'm saying? But so they all look good. So you're saying from afar, you don't know who's young. They all look good, but then you get close and you're like, oh no, she looks young. Automatically, you're turning around.
100.
Automatically.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't care. Nobody can tell me any different. And if you don't turn around, you're nasty because you know what you're trying to do.
Or you start looking at
and this is why a lot of females don't like certain men, because their only experience of men is men trying to have a superior complex over them. Because it's all about a control thing for certain guys. They're not happy within themselves. They can't get anyone their own age because they're probably not doing much of themselves. Do you know what I mean? The most they've got is probably a car to their name. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's not even a nice car at that. But they know a younger person will be influenced by that. Oh, he drives. Oh, blah, blah. But what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, because you want to control her. You want to groom her.
Yeah, what do you want from her? Do you know
and then she's trapped. You give her a child now. You know, she's young. She's a young mother. You're not even supporting your child. You just want her there because what? You want to get your little fix or fun. It's wrong.
And that's someone's life that
you're ruining people's lives. So I understand to an extent why some females will be like, men are trash. But the reality is, it's literally, out of all the men out there and all the men that I'm surrounded by, and I know some sleazebags in it. I know some guys that are they move different. So I don't really hang around them, but I observe them from afar. Yeah. But there's a lot of guys out there that are good. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? But because their experience with certain guys, and it seems to be every guy they meet is that same type of guy, their perception of men is very different, especially if the first person that kind of they had a certain interaction with was someone they trusted, i.e. an uncle, a family friend, their dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, the world is tapped, bro. The world is tapped, fam.
Tapped.
You know, the amount of times girls tell me, you know, they've you know, girls that are in their early 20s and that tell me they're dating like someone that's like 31 and the rest of that. And then sometimes I just sit there and I just think to myself, what do you have in common? Like, what do you, like, you're from two different generations. And that's not to say that people can't, like, a 21-year-old can't date a 30-year-old. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that I just feel like I personally, in my personal opinion, like, some people might feel like, oh, that's all right. But my personal opinion, that's too much. That's too much of a gap. That's too much of whatever. Like you said, you know, a guy could be pulling up to a school, and he's 20, 21. Bearing in mind, 21, you've just finished, if you've gone uni and you've gone through the whole process, typically you've finished uni at 21. Yeah. So you're big man, gone 3 years of uni, all the rest of that, and you're picking up a 14-year-old from school in your little Punto.
So
disgusting.
It doesn't doing the school run. Like, and then I think to myself, what do you have to talk about? You're only doing it to control. You're doing it as a power play. That's all it is. Because you can't get women your age.
They're impressionable as well. Do you know what I mean? But then you see, my issue flips now. When it comes to somebody, like a female that's like, let's say 21, and then they start dating 30, 40-year-olds. It's like, what's your interest in a 30 or 40-year-old? Is it because he has money? Do you get what I'm saying?
Or some girls might want to be like, you know, where they feel secure. Not even just secure, but they'll, like, if someone, they take a big compliment out of being called mature. So then it's like, I'm mature now. Cool. Oh yeah, I don't date no one around my age. They're all immature for me. They want to go the high, like a level higher and a level higher and whatever. And then some of them, they again warp their own minds and think, okay, the older that I date, the more mature I must be or whatever. And that's how you end up with like maybe a fresh 20-year-old is with a 40, 45-year-old. And again, that might be able to work. Yeah, cool. But then sometimes you have to think about the different stages that you're at
in life.
One's talking about, you know, doing business takeovers, and then the other one's talking about what they were drinking at was it Club Live?
Last
night. And it's just like,
you know what I mean?
It's crazy. You can't talk about it.
It's true.
Then again, I'm gonna flip it again. But then when we talk about
hella flips,
you know what I mean, fam. And like the other side of it as well, when you talk about young like males that obviously get targeted as well, and
it's true.
And sometimes they don't even know it.
It's true.
You know what I mean? All right, so I'm gonna tell you about a story.
Love story time.
So imagine now, So imagine one time. So this is about me, innit?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I was at work. I was just fresh as a what do you call it? Apprentice. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I was fresh 18. Technically, I'm legal.
Yeah.
So I'm fresh 18 now, and I've gone on a placement. So I've been put on the in the placement in the vicinity of someone else. Yeah. So I was like, obviously, I'm meant to shadow that person in it. It's like cool. You know when you just talk, you gossip and whatever, and just chat. And I was like, you know, everything was going well. And then after a while, I was okay. I started to get some vibes from my man, because like it's a guy. Yeah, yeah, it was a guy. Yeah, so he was just talking a lot about like what was he saying? He was talking about you know, yeah, you must go to the gym a lot, this and that. Big man, you got to
stop that.
Like, you know, like things like that. But obviously, I'm new. I'm like, he's been there. I'm not gonna be like move. Like, I'm not about this, because it's like, really and truly, he's not actually done anything wrong yet. Do you know what I mean? But I've got my wits about me, innit? So like, obviously, so now he's talking now. Yeah.
Did you ever feel like the early stages of this, did you feel uncomfortable? Or did you
yeah. So like,
was you naive to what you like?
No, not straight away. But I was thinking, I thought about it and I thought, nah, surely not. Nah, surely not. Come on.
You start feeling a little bit tapped. You're like, why was I thinking that?
Fam. And then like, fam. And then so I think one time, we was doing a shift together. It was a late night shift, in it, you know, dead late. Yeah. So obviously, I don't think I was able to stay until the end. Yeah, but we're just talking, and this guy's talking about like house prices. I said I was interested in houses and whatever, and he was just like telling me about this place that he's got and whatever. And he was just like, if you go on this website, obviously you can find places through this scheme and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, cool. He was like, tell you what, why don't you take down my number and text me and send me a smiley face so I know it's you.
Sorry. Oh my God.
Can I ask a question? Why did he feel like he could relate with you like that?
Bro, I do not know. Obviously, I must have been fresh meat, innit? I must have been fresh meat, fam. I must have not been his first rodeo at this. You know what I mean? So
must have sent me a smiley face.
Yeah, so I know it's you.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
It's when you think like we're joking about it. It's very serious.
That's serious.
Why does he think he can talk? Like, was it the way you looked? What?
Bro,
did you give enough signals? No, not like not like that. No. You know some males. They're quite metrosexual, innit? Like they're groomed, they look after themselves. So if you're always coming with a fresh trim, or you're always like your nails are always cut, you don't look raggedy, you've never smelled of beer or nothing like that at least once, and it's like, oh, he keeps himself.
To be honest, I probably did look fresh, because obviously, you know, I'm apprentice
and everything.
I'm just fresh in it. Do you know what I mean? Again, I must have just looked like fresh meat on one plate for him. You know what I mean? So then,
that's mad.
Yeah. So then,
did you put in a complaint, fam?
Yeah. So imagine now. So obviously, I was thinking like after a while, it's like I didn't want to go back out there. Innit? So I spoke to a manager, and basically they stopped sending me to that placement. So it got to a point where now I've gone back to my manager, and like after like even a couple of weeks after, it was still bothering me, because I was thinking, no, like, did that actually happen? Do you know?
Because and this isn't actually tried to move to you. Bro.
Yeah, like man actually tried to move to me, innit? And
I've heard it all now, man.
I was just do you know what was the final straw was because I was still playing football and that, and I think I was on my break, and he, so imagine I had a license to do a job hire in it, so I was gonna shadow someone else another person that's higher.
Yeah,
and he's like, no, you don't need to do that. Shadow me. Like, so he's trying to stick. He wants me to stick with him innit.
That's a big.
And then so that's when I spoke to the manager. They stopped all that innit.
Yeah.
So obviously, in the end, and I kind of thought about it because even my manager was like, okay, do you wanna file a harassment claim or whatever? And I thought, do you know what? What if I do this, but he was actually just being a nice just imagine he's just being a nice guy. And eventually, all that happened, he got put on a disciplinary whatever. And he actually then admitted that he was actually trying to move to man. And I just couldn't. I actually couldn't. Of course,
that must have fried your brain.
I don't know where he is. Do you know what? I don't know what his name is.
He's lurking.
That's crazy.
What his name is? I don't know what happened.
Do you know why that's dangerous, bro? Because supposing you weren't the built that you were, and you were some skinny little kid, fam.
Who felt pressured by that, I might as well give in kind of that,
or was so naive that I actually didn't pick up any of the signs that he was.
That is mad.
But we say that happened to you, as a man, a young man at the time. Can you imagine that happens to women on a day?
Yeah, imagine how I felt reporting that
daily basis. Man.
Imagine, and for me, I think that what I went through was what I went through, but compared to the scale of what some people go through in life, I don't think that's anywhere. That's not scratch.
Word. But still, don't even try downplay it, bro. Because that's still a madness.
It's still a madness. And do you know what else happened in that same station, fam? What? Yeah. So imagine story time number 2. Yeah. So imagine I was chilling, and obviously
careful.
Yeah. So someone's walked past, innit? And then obviously just started talking. You know, people at work, they just start talking to you and whatever, and then so then this obviously I'm just chilling and I'm trying not to give away too much.
We know.
So then so my guy was just chatting to me about
another guy.
Yeah, it's another guy now. I don't know what it was, fam.
Why did these guys think they could move to you,
fam?
Bro?
I attract a lot of male attention. I won't lie.
I've got a story for that.
Yeah, I attract a lot
another
of male
story
attention.
as well. It's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, when you take a deep look into the archives, and you hang on a second.
Yeah, it's
fam. I've never been moved to, but man, still
fair, fam. But long story short, my man was just chatting to me, and basically he thought it was comfortable enough to tell me that he does porn, innit? So I thought, okay, obviously he's talking, obviously if a guy,
you thought he was straight.
I thought, so obviously he's talking about. I thought, obviously he's just telling me, he makes so much money from porn, this and that. So I was like, swear down,
sorry, I can't.
He's like, I was just like, just keeping up convo, innit? You're thinking 2 guys just chatting, whatever. I said, what's it called? He said, Gangsters versus Latinos. And
did you search it?
I said,
you search it?
No, I didn't search it, fam. I didn't search it. I said to myself, it's
time
to go, fam. It's time to go. Because what my ears rang out when he said
to go.
I know the difference between Latinas and Latinos. And he said Latinos.
He said Latinos.
Was
he Latino?
He was a Caucasian male.
Okay.
He was a Caucasian male, so he may have been the gangster. I don't know, bro. And I just said,
British gangsters.
No, but I just said, Sean, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go on, bro.
Did you not, after that happened,
Yeah.
And there's obviously, whatever your sexual preference is your preference, innit? There's nothing wrong with that. But did you not start to question yourself, why have 2 men in the same place tried to move to me?
No, because it just happens, you know what I mean? Because for me, I know that, especially so my gluteus maximus is slightly larger than the average person. And
from school.
obviously I like to wear slim trousers.
You used to say something. You used to call man short. Was it short?
Shononse. No, fam. But obviously, like I know that like that's what I did. And you know, I can't stop like someone. Like I'd love to be able to obviously because that's not my thing. I'd love to be able to be like, no, stop thinking that, innit? But like some people are just gonna think rah. Yeah, think inappropriate thoughts about
implants.
Me, innit?
BBL. What is? You can't help someone looking at your cheeks.
Speak, right? But yeah, basically, yeah, fam. So like I can't.
Oh my god!
And you know,
I think the most that happens to me, I get moved to by older women.
Yeah,
but not. I've never been moved to by man.
Yeah, but even that, like how we spoke about earlier, you know, there's some young men that get groomed by cougars and become like a little toy boy. But realistically, it's just as wrong as well. But because we're men, it's kind of like it's almost like like take it on because it's a woman moving to you. But it's
like
just
a compliment as well.
It's almost like a compliment. You know, it's some men are vulnerable as well.
After work, you know, I was like, no, I gotta go home. Mom, help me.
But you know, it's happened. My yard. I've had a similar story to Sean. I can't remember it too much because I was about 16 at the time. But I remember being at the bus stop. It was dark as well, you know, like winter times. Like it's you know, getting dark at 7 o'clock,
5 p.m.
waiting for the bus to come. Some brother pulls up in his car in his hatchback, winds down his window. He's just chatting to me. He's like, "Oh, you alright?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm calm. I'm good." He's like, "Oh yeah, what, you from the area?" Blah blah. He was like, "Yeah, I run a club down the road." Blah blah. Like it was something to do with football or some sort of activity sort of thing. He was like, "Oh yeah, let me take your number." And at this time, I was looking to get into things around the area because I'd just finished playing football for my team, so I was looking at other things sort of around my area. And so he gave me his number, and then I thought nothing of it. But 10 minutes later, I get a message. What you doing tonight? Blah blah. And then he was. I was like, and then I said to you, I was like. I'm doing my own bit. Like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I'm alluding to the fact that I'm not interested. Like, I don't know who you are. I'm not coming around you or anything. And then he said, "Oh, I thought you were being friendly because you kind of like you swung that way." Whoa! And I'm like, "Nah, like." No, I mean, I've just blocked after that I've blocked the number. But you can see that happened to me in a brief short spell of just waiting for the bus. Bus comes every
And do you know what's scary about that, bro? He said he got a football team, innit?
Yeah.
Fam, do you know how much man down like back in the day? Obviously the stories are only coming out like now and in the last few years, but how much man them got abused? Football back in the day, like the coaches used to abuse boys. I'm talking about the older lot. Like you hear some footballers been abused and blah blah blah. It's wild.
Yeah.
Can you imagine he actually had a team and he's touching little boys? It makes me sick.
But do you know what? It's only when you mention your story, Sean, that it prompted me to actually think about that. And I think that it's interesting because we can speak to so many different types of people. We can speak to a lot of men that maybe haven't deeped that situation has maybe occurred in their life to them. You speak to a lot of women and they can clearly say, yeah, that happened. And even sometimes you're talking to a woman, it's not until she's halfway through her story that she maybe, you can see it in her eyes that she's actually deeped that's happened to her.
You know, do you think those things like lay subconsciousness in your mind? Because from like, you know me, like I like my preference is a little bit older than myself, innit?
Yeah.
But ever since I was young, I've always like, there's been a few times I've been moved to by older girls that are my age, well, around my age, moved to like that. But then there's been times where there's been older women that have like proper like taken a shine to man. Do you know what I mean? There's some workplaces, like I said earlier, like there was one woman that was like, I got quite close to her, like as in friendship. One day after that, she was like, what, you coming to my house? Yeah. I was like, I was shocked. I'm walking, I'm trying to play it cool because obviously I'm younger than her, but I still want to seem like a man, innit? Like I don't want to be like, right, like timid. I'm just thinking, right, like, what, you joking? She's like, no. And she's looking at me like licking her lips and that, and I'm thinking like, right, like you're like at least 10-11 years my senior, fam. Like
you could be an older cousin. Like,
honestly, it's not a joke. It's not a joke, fam.
I heard that. Yes, so people, you reached the end of another episode. I hope it was a good listen. You know, we definitely had fun giving you some material to listen to.
As always.
Yeah, man.
Don't forget, man, to hit us up in the DMs with
some dilemmas,
anything you lot want us to talk about.
Yeah, man.
Situations you want us to talk about, anything. Yeah, man, just hit us up.
Yeah, chatty
you
bunch
find
of
all of our
guys,
all of our Instagrams on the I Hear That page. So yeah, man, just
Like, we've got a lot of experiences collectively as well, you know.
Yeah,
so
a lot of experience.
I'm telling you, one day we might have to have a story time.
100.
Proper story time. Just banter.
A dedicated episode for story time.
Yeah.
But people, you know, go to our Insta. It's I.here.that. And like we said, DM us, because you know we're a friendly bunch. And if you've heard something in this episode that's maybe affected you, or something that you want to speak about, even if it's in previous episodes, just come and talk to us.
For real, 100%.
You know, it doesn't have to be this thing. It could be anonymous, all the rest of that. We're just here to help.
100%, man.
But yeah, you've been here with Aaron,
S9, Sean.
See you on Shapes.
Chargy D, aka DCB, aka Dalamadan.
AKA Angleman Dan. DCB.
Man's not on the buttons.
I hear that.
Yes, we out.
We out.
So just hold on. So actually, I'll do it.
Clap.
I'm making something. Am I moving mad?
Yeah. You trying to write that down?
Not yet.